Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Cinema Smoketography. I'm your friendly neighborhood hookologist. Joining me today is no one because I messed up the recording and I have to redo this podcast. Isaac is not available, but we are talking about the most cinematic movie has ever hit our screens, Paddington in Peru. Just kidding. We're talking about Captain America, Brave New World. And I have some notes from Isaac. I'm going to get these out of the way now. Again, I messed up the recording. He couldn't be here. It's my own fault. So, in Isaac's words, because we talked about this right after I saw the movie, here's my. No, not that, not that, not that. Okay, so Isaac's thoughts. Um, let's see. He saw Captain America. He got some notes. Okay, his thoughts were his issue is here's his issue with it is that he had said it on the podcast, the Doctor Strange podcast. It feels like it became a WandaVision sequel, not a Doctor Strange sequel. This is a sequel basically for the Incredible Hulk, the redheaded stepchild of the MCU. Is that they have all the Captain America villains not really there, other than Sidewinder in the Serpent Society, and it was a sequel to basically the Incredible Hulk and to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So there's a lot of good things to say about this. It looks great. They needed an excuse to put adamantium in the MCU and make it cosmic. Makes sense. So there's a lot of good things to say about it. I'll go ahead and just say my thoughts on it to begin with. I thought it was really well done. I think it's a very grounded film for the MCU. I really did like how it's away from the Marvel over the topness. It felt very grounded, you know? So that was really good. And I like how Samuel Stearns looks. I know a lot of people are kind of have mixed feelings about it, but in the idea of how the MCU looks, how, he was mutated with his brain right here and has the pretty much the brain cap, it looks really good. I thought it was a very good, interpretation of the leader, even though it's not like super big brain. And it was a lot of false advertising. If you look at the Funko Pops, right, it doesn't look like Samuel Stearns in the film. The Funko does not represent how he looks in the film. And Anthony Mackie as the leading man for Captain America. Personally, I think he does great. Anthony Mackie is such a charismatic actor, and he really brings that I'm just a regular guy, no super soldier serum, being Captain America. You can still see his conflict with it a little bit, saying that he's not good enough. Especially what happened with the new Falcon. After he got blown up, basically, and how he messed up. So it's very very grounded, and I loved how Bucky has to be in every Captain America film in some way, shape, or form. He is always in it, and it's just like an overbearing like good idea. It's we had way better like banter about it earlier, and I'm very upset that the podcast got messed up. But overall thoughts, we'll talk about the good. Starting from the beginning, it's very like heavy-handed that Captain America is going for that political thriller, everything, and the it's really a redemption story for Thunderbolt Ross, right? Like this whole thing they're putting on, like he's trying to change, like he can't, he's the same person. So it's a duality of bringing the Red Hulk, which is, in Isaac's words, it was just a marketing ploy just to put the Red Hulk in there. I think it would have been really good if they teased it and then the final fight happened, right? Because I was talking to another buddy of mine. He says there's no way that Falcon could beat a Hulk, and that's not true. The way they set it up with the Wakandans making Sam's suit and having the vibranium wings like shoot out, like the feathers shoot out and be able to hurt him, which makes a lot of sense. So you do see that in most cases that in this movie, like you have, you know, Falcon be able to fight him and really be the ending where he talks him down and calms him down, which felt like the sun's getting real low kind of thing, right? But it we forget that Sam was introduced as a counselor, and he's always been like a counselor. Even in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he was trying to talk to Carly, talking her down and stop being like over the top and flag smasher stuff. So that was actually really good. Like another great part, and every time I saw Isaiah Bradley is such a good like representation of like what it's like to be forgotten as the Black Captain America and his distrust for the American government because they imprisoned him. And when he had to go back in there, it was so sad. Is like don't, and they had to keep saying, "Don't mess up my suit," because it was the suit he got married in. That was every scene with Isaiah Bradley, fucking phenomenal. I think he brought a lot of like human aspects to the movie, and Sam wanting to clear Isaiah's name, and Ross saying, "No, you're not doing that because guess what? It's biased. You can't do that." And he makes a jab at him saying, "You're not Steve Rogers." And Sam's not trying to be. He's trying to be his own Captain America, and he has that like conflict, like, oh man, I'm not good enough. I should have taken the serum. And Bucky says, this is my favorite line of the movie, by the way, is that Steve gave people hope. You give people to aspire to be. Because remember, Sam's not a super soldier. He's just a regular guy with a vibranium suit and a shield, which, he's still very well shaped for any like average man. But it just shows that you can do anything as long as you have the will and the drive to do it, which I thought was fantastic. Also, side note, I think it's hilarious that Bucky is running for a Congress seat, and I just think that's always really funny. Like that was pretty humorous to me, at least, right? So it was that was actually really good, in my opinion. Now let's talk about some of the bad things. Number one, you have all the Incredible Hulk villains. You have Samuel Stearns, you have Thunderbolt Ross, and they mention Bruce Banner so fucking often that they don't even remember. He's not even in the movie. If you're gonna at least make him be part of like the end credits where Betty comes back to talk to Ross, have Bruce say like, "Hey, you're Hulk now. Part of your condition of being put in the raft." Spoiler alert: he's in the raft. He lost his presidency, right? You should be. Let me help you control this new power you have. Because also Red Hulk is also way more intelligent than Hulk is, right? He's way more into it. And then the thing with his powers, they didn't really get into it, is that he doesn't have gamma, he has radiation powers. And instead of getting angrier, he gets hotter, which they kind of alluded to with everything burning around him, but they didn't lean into the fact that it's radiation. They leaned into gamma. So they loosely messed with the Red Hulk a little bit, which it is not a bad thing, but at the same time, like we get it, it's his first transformation, he's hulking out. But realistically, in the fact that in World War Hulks is where they kind of loosely got this story from, you know, Ross and the leader team up to stop the Hulk, I think, but I can't remember the whole part of the story, but I know it's loosely based on it. Is that he got his powers and he became like superpowered by radiation, not by not by gamma, which is a small nitpick, but I can let slide. Also, um, the whole ending with the leader trying to discredit Ross, like I just think there were better ways to do it. And oh my God, is Samuel Stearns petty? I thought I was petty, but this guy really went out of his way just to embarrass Ross in any way, shape, or form, and it really shows. Like the whole mind control thing, like using the phones, like they leaned into like the paranoia a little bit, right? So I don't think paranoia is the right word. Guys, in the comment section, if you like and subscribe, by the way, I really, without Isaac here, it's hard to like do a podcast, and I don't. There's a lot of stuff we said in the first recording that I can't remember, and I'm so mad that I lost the clip. So this is probably going to be a very short podcast, quick thoughts and everything. But let me talk about where this ranks for me. Isaac thinks this ranks on the bottom of the Captain America movies. So there's obviously for we both agree that Winter Soldier is a better movie, is the best Captain America movie. Civil War is a very good second. Me personally, I put Brave New World. I think Brave New World was a very good, like, grounded Captain America film, and it really highlights Sam Wilson as Captain America. And everything I've kind of said before, the stuff with Isaiah Bradley and everything else like that. But Marvel does lean into the fact that you need to watch so much of this stuff and do research, or else you're not going to get the movie. You're not going to know who Isaiah Bradley is if you don't watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? You miss that plot line. So that's what Isaac is also kind of like not the happiest with because you have to do so much research in these, right? And it's the same thing with it's like a secret sequel to Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the Incredible Hulk, not necessarily a solo Captain America film, right? Where the premise would have worked just as well if you took that first half of Captain America, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and made that a movie, right? If you made that Sam Wilson's debut movie and then this be his second outing, that would have been way better in both of our opinions. But we can't complain on that one. It's what it was. Marvel wanted to do it this way, and I think it worked pretty well. Granted, Falcon the Winter Soldier has its problems, which we talk about, in our other podcast. Be sure to look at those. You know, easy plug. But it's a good, in my eyes, it's a great film. He puts the first Avenger because it's way more established than Captain America. I think, and this has always been my thing. Like Captain America, the first Avenger wasn't a great film. They just kind of rushed that one a little bit just so he can be in the Avengers, right? But this movie does establish how Falcon can be the leader of the new Avengers. And Ross wants to restart the Avengers program, right? So they can work for the government instead of being a solo enterprise. So Sam is now going to have starting the new Avengers in the end credit scene. They're alluding to the Illuminati. Isaac is saying, and I guess that's the case. I was under the idea that Samuel Stearns did like his mental calculations and how he did probabilities and everything, predicting the incursions, right? That's coming in for Doomsday and everything else like that. Which I didn't get at first. A lot of people have been explaining that, and it now clicks to me now that I hear it, but it didn't come across that when I first watched it. Which brings me to my next point: is this a movie I can go back and rewatch? Like I rewatched The Winter Soldier and I rewatched Civil War. Like I can watch it full force and be amazed every time. No, I can't go rewatch this one. Be like, oh my god, I love it, I love it. No, I rewatch it because it's just like, oh, I haven't seen this movie in a while. That's my feeling towards it when it comes out and I'm able to watch it. I'm probably gonna watch it again when it comes on Disney Plus. But for the Winter Soldier, me and my girlfriend at the time saw that movie about like 5, 6 times in the theaters. Like, and I was amazed every single time I watched it. I don't get that same excitement for this movie. Not to say Clarence, yeah, if you get 8 Mile, Clarence had real nice parents, had a real good marriage. It just shows that he can beat an Incredible Hulk, but he can't beat Eminem in a rap battle. Fun fact. So it just comes down to how I see this movie. I think it's a solid B movie, right? Why I have it like in third place in Captain America. It does do a way better job of being a fourth installment than say Thor. Thor Love and Thunder was a way worse movie than, Ragnarok. And that problem with that movie is that it really wanted to be Ragnarok, but it wasn't. Sorry. Oh, why'd you look at that? To me, this is a solid movie. Is it my favorite Captain America film? No. I think it's a real nice back to basics like movie. Um, I think it's a real back to basics kind of thing, right? I want to see how the rest of the MCU kind of plays off, like especially coming with the Thunderbolts, which again is kind of like we'll get more into this when the Thunderbolts come out and my thoughts on that, but it feels like it's going to be a little bit more grounded coming forward until we get to Doomsday. I think this sets up Sam Wilson as a good leader for the Avengers, and I think it's going to be a real good time to see that. Although I am interested to see how everything else is going to play out moving forward. Although with the new DC movies coming out with, starting with, the new Superman movie, I'm way more excited to see how DC does their new DCEU. And I'm very excited to see that DC can now rival Marvel in in a cinematic sense, because DC always had really good animated movies, and we always say that. Now we're going to be seeing DC do way better, and I have really like low expectations, and I need to have those so I can be more excited for these films. So I am super excited to see all this. I don't have really much else to say, guys. What are your thoughts? What are movies you guys want to see us cover? Soon we're gonna have another couple podcasts come out soon on movies we've been talking about. I'm not gonna spoil it because I haven't finished some of the movies we've been saying we want to do, but we're gonna be doing them soon. Guys, please let me know your thoughts and feelings. Again, if we find the original recording, we'll re-release that. But for now, it's going to be a short podcast. I do appreciate you guys all showing up. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see me review down below with Isaac, and we'll go from there. Until next time, guys, keep smoking.